As you can see on the stage, we're talking about hygienic pumps, and we have the hygienic pumping experts. In fact, we have the MD from Fristam in the UK here to join us on the stage. Please give it up for Alistair Black. Come on up, Alistair. There we go. Thank you very much for joining us on the stage today, Alistair. How's your PPMA show 2024 been so far?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, very excited.
This isn't your first time here, is it?
It's not my first rodeo, no.
Are you a bit of a PPMA veteran?
I think when Total joined PPMA, that's when we first started. So
Right.
that's probably about 10 years ago.
Okay, probably about as long as I've been coming to and from this show as well. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. You've brought part of your product suites here onto the stage. The Neo, is that what this is?
Nano.
The Nano onto the stage. We'll chat in a bit more detail and maybe see some examples of that on the screen in a few moments' time. But first of all, for anyone who isn't familiar with Fristam, tell us what you do a bit more.
Well, Fristam is a fourth generation family-owned company based in Germany. We're about 115 years old. We have a headquarter and manufacturing in Hamburg in Germany, but we also manufacture in China, India, and USA for obvious reasons, the home markets.
Yes.
And we manufacture a range of mixers and blenders, hygienic pumps obviously, and we manufacture liquid and powder blenders,
Yes.
systems, shear pumps and colloid mills, centrifugal pumps, end suction centrifugal pumps, scavenge pumps, liquid ring pumps and rotary load pumps in the positive displacement world, circumferential pistons, and the Nano, which is part of the FDS family, is one of those as well.
And talk to me about who you manufacture these for. I mean, you give away some of the use cases there, perhaps, but who typically are your sort of customers?
Well, we are in the food, dairy,
Yeah.
brewery, beverage, pharmaceutical, cosmetic, bio industry, home care products. Basically, if you go to the supermarket and look on the supermarket shelves,
Yeah.
the majority of products that you'll see on the shelf has kissed a Fristam pump at some point.
A kissed a Fristam pump.
Very gentle.
Have you kissed a Fristam pump before?
Every day.
Every day. Pleased to hear it. As we'll see maybe in a few moments' time, toothpaste is a great example of that as well, and you've got a great demonstration of that.
We do.
Very eye-catching as you're walking around the show floor as well. What's different about you? Because you are far from the only pump manufacturer in these parts. What would you say is it that sets you apart, or what your value add might be?
Well, I suppose it's a bit cliche, but I would say our people.
Okay.
Because we're a family company, we have family values, but we tend to keep people. So we have a long history. I mean, I've been with Fristam for 37 years, and that is the structure of Fristam. We don't get, people don't leave Fristam, they stay. So, and obviously the longer they stay, the more expert they become. So we have a phenomenal team that knows a lot about the pumps. The service is exceptional. If you demand us on site tomorrow, we'll be on site tomorrow. Whether it's running through an application or repairing a pump, we'll be there as soon as you need us.
So yeah, I guess the question is, yes, family business, lots of in-house expertise that has been nurtured over generations and generations, but really in terms of articulating that value to potential customers, that's when it comes to the service element, the fact that if someone comes out to visit something that needs looking at, chances are they've already got the expertise and the experience to know what to do about that, so that you have minimum downtime on your line. Absolutely,
and the Germans say it's an easy sell because it is a robust pump. They're built to last forever. I mean, for example, our centrifugal pumps are built cast forged 6mm stainless, and our competition is pressed steel, 3-4 millimeters, so they don't tend to last as long. So we have pumps that are out in the field that have lasted 50 to 60 years and still going, and we still support them to the day. So, and that's really, when we sell a pump, we don't just sell a pump, we sell the expertise, but we follow that pump all the way through to the end. So we'll still be supplying and supporting pumps that are 60 years old.
All right. Speaking of pumps that aren't 60 years old and products themselves, you've got this Nano here on the table. Talk to me about what it is, maybe why it came about as well. Because developing new products, that ain't cheap. So you do it for a reason, right?
We do. Well, why we came around to this is because we have a range of FDS double screw pumps, but our customers were demanding a smaller pump because if you pump really low flows,
Yep.
The larger the pump, the less efficient, the less accurate it was. So we saw a gap in the market for more utility pumps, metering, dosing, that A, are not hygienic and they can't pump, but they're also wearing into the product. So you've got rubber that goes into the product or metal that goes into the product. Whereas when you're looking at a hygienic application, you obviously don't want anything like that.
So you mentioned that gap in the market. What kind of products, what kind of applications specifically would you see one of these low flow pumps being used for here?
Well, as I mentioned, we're looking at test rigs, we're looking at pilot plants.
Okay.
We're also, I mean, the list is endless. Mainly metering and dosing, because that's where things like AOD pumps that have rubber and go into the product, progressing cavity pumps, peristaltic pumps. These are all products that can't actually pump. They can meter, but they can't pump, and they can't be ultra clean. So this is just coming up with lots of new applications that we never even knew were there.
Exploring the art of the possible. You've got the tool. Let's see what people can do with it, I guess. Speaking of seeing what people can do with things, we have a live demo. We have, hopefully, on the other end of the camera here, we have Rene. There he is. Hello, Rene. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Oh.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you, and indeed we can hear you. Thank you for being there and ready, right on cue. Thank goodness for that. When we need you. And we've been having a chat with Alistair just now about the Nano and talking about different applications of it. What we'd love to do is if you could show us around maybe 2 or 3 things that are there on the Fristam stand, chat us through what it is that people are engaging with on the show floor.
Okay. So yeah, I'm really happy to that I can show you our booth here. I'm the product manager for the twin screw pump within the Fristam family. So obviously I will start with our twin screw pump, the smallest one, what Alistair just talked about, the FDS Nano. So the first model what you can experience on our booth here is our 3 Nanos in operation. And here we want to show the people what it typically can do. That means continuous high flow in a very low range, of course. So for cleaning, for example, then an accurate and pulsation-free handling of a low flow, but continuously, and finally the dosing or the intermittent flow. So for example, for filling of cups or whatever, what you can imagine. So that is basically what we want to show with that model. But of course, as Alistair explained, the FDS is a twin screw or double screw pump. So it's a PD pump, positive displacement pump, made for high viscous products in the beginning, or it's originally. So what we can see here, or you mentioned that before as well, the toothpaste model here. So here we can see how the pump is priming very high viscous or thick paste like a toothpaste or other products, and pumping it without any problem. And finally, to show you what the twin screw double screw technology is able to do, and of course the Fristam FDS series, is that we can on the one hand handle the high viscous stuff, but then also doing the cleaning. And here we see now how we increase the speed, which means show that we can handle the cleaning media, acids, water, and of course what typical cleaning circles need. And here you see how fast that pump can handle that, and everything gets clean, not only the pump, also the system. So you don't need to have an additional CIP pump. You can do everything with one. So that is what the twin screw or double screw technology is capable to do. On the rear side, you can see also some more details. We can show you on our booth much more details about the internals, about maintenance, about interesting stuff. But of course, as Alistair mentioned in the beginning, Fristam is not only doing twin screw pumps or double screw pumps. We are doing, of course, these pumps you can see as well on our booth, low pumps and circumferential piston pumps out of our positive displacement pump series. So they are also, of course, existing already a long time, very reliable and high quality pumps. And of course, also these pumps have a high need in the market for various applications. Then everything started with Fristam with a centrifugal pump. Of course, we also have a centrifugal pump on our booth over here. And finally, what we a very interesting and big area in our company as well is our mixing and blending group. We have dedicated people for that, so everything around powder mixing into liquids we can discuss and show you our solutions, what we have here on our booth in not far away from the theater, right?
Thank you very much indeed, Rene. I'm hoping it's not too far away from the theatre, because I'm going to ask you to put down that microphone and run to the theatre. Join us on the sofa, because we've got some questions for you right here. So for now, Rene, thank you very much indeed. Rene's going to run very quickly, join you there, Alistair.
Correct.
I always like walking around the Fristam booth at PPMA show, because you've got some beautiful demonstrations of your products there. I mentioned the toothpaste piece earlier on there, but there's clearly a lot to show and tell, a big story to share with visitors this year. Just coming back to the Nano that we saw there, we saw a 3-pump display there of the Nano. How new is this? How long in development has that been, and what's been the release cycle for it?
Well, this is actually the prototype, believe it or not. This was the first one ever developed, but we started manufacturing in May, and we've already sold over 100 pumps.
Well, I was going to say, what's been the audience, the industry reaction to that?
They love it. The customers just can't believe that this hasn't been produced before. So,
right, okay.
you know, you have a metering pump in the hygienic industry that you can't clean, but now you can with the Nano.
By the way, questions, please do pop your hand up. Abby, someone will be around with a microphone in case you want to pop your question. We've got a question standing by here. In a few moments' time, Abby will be back. Sustainability, one of the key pillars of PPMA show, and of course many shows, many organizations at the moment, is what they're doing around sustainability to leave the planet with as little of a footprint, maybe even leave it better off than when they came in the first place. What's Fristam's sustainability story at the moment?
Well, yeah, as you say, a lot of people talk about sustainability, but then we hello, Rene. We are doing lots of innovations on sustainability. Just with the FDS pump, we developed a gearbox on the back of the pump that can rotate in one direction really slowly and the opposite direction really fast, but it still has maximum power and maximum torque. So using this gearbox in the older models, and most of our competitors unfortunately don't have, or fortunately don't have this technology, in order to reach the duties, the variable duties that they need to reach, they might need an 11 kilowatt motor. But with this gearbox, we only need a 4 kilowatt motor, because as I was saying, we're maximum torque, maximum power. But I mean, you just talk about sustainability, and this is the thing I discuss with some of our customers when they say, yeah, but we only need this product to last. We're building a system, we only need it to last 3 years, because that's not sustainable in my mind. We're making pumps. Because what do you do with stainless steel to turn it into something?
Heat it up, right?
Heat it up, melt it, and that is energy. So when we're talking about a pump that is cast or forged 6 mil, it's built to last. Whereas if you're having a pressed steel pump or a 3 mil, 4 mil stainless steel pump, it doesn't last as long, so it's throwaway, whereas we can repurpose our pumps for 50, 60 years.
Yeah, enabling customers to sweat their assets, make the most of their investment. But going back to your first point about the gearbox there, do more with less, which is a key sustainability story.
Yeah.
Rene, thank you for hot-footing it back to the stage here after starring on the screen. Again, good work on the demo there. You'll have me out of a job. We are, first afternoon now of PPMA show, opening day. It's been busy out there on the show floor.
Yep.
What have been the main sort of questions, the main products on your stand that visitors to the show have been showing a particular interest in? What have you been talking about most of all with your visitors there so far this year?
Yeah, we talked, of course, I was close to our newest baby here, the smallest pump. And of course, we talked a lot about where do we use it, what are the best applications for that in the pre-mix or in the finally in the dosing area. So that's what we noticed, that the people are really interested in, that they have now a new technology for them in that area. So of course the technology is not new, and all the advantages we have out of the larger series we were able to have also with a smaller one, but in the past it was just not there, so no competitor, nobody has such a small twin screw pump, and now we are really a little bit let's say enthusiastic to enter a new area. Even for me, sometimes I went into production and I had to look to a place where a different pump technology was installed. I never looked at. Now we have a really, it's something new also for us. Some applications are completely new. So learning, it's absolutely interesting.
A new toy for you and a new application potentially for your customers as well. I can see why that's very exciting. Speaking of customers, potential customers, we've been asking for your questions, and we have a question from over here. Hello there, sir. Who are you? Hello. And what's your point?
Hi, I'm James from Silverson Machines. Well, first of all, thank you for a good talk and a really nice demonstration of the product as well, Rennie. I noticed on your demonstration you showed the twin screw pump pushing quite a thick product through the pump very consistently, very well. And my first question was, does that cause any heating of the product or even the machine? How does it work in terms of heat management? And secondly, on the other side, it was pumping CIP fluid, much less viscous, much higher rate, and it sped up the machine a great deal. So how fast does the machine go in that situation?
Thank you very much for your questions. What have you got for us, gents?
Well, I would say the axial movement of the pump means that we can pump very thick products very efficiently, as Rene said, without any pulsation or virtually no pulsation. And then when we're pumping a thick product, we can be very efficient because there's hardly any slip in the pump. And due to the tolerances that we use in these pumps, in order to be able to create this vacuum, to create the suction, they're very tight, and that means less slip in the pump. So we can pump very thin liquids very efficiently as well, up to 3,600 RPM in the standard. But the Nano can go up to about 4,000 RPM. So we can pump at 10 RPM up to 4,000 RPM if you've got the right equipment to drive it.
Super. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your responses. Any more questions from the floor? Yes, we have another question at the back there. Hello, sir.
I was just wondering, with the Nano, are you sacrificing anything due to the size of it, or does it have the same advantages as the more conventional pumps?
I didn't hear that.
Sorry, could you just ask that one more time? Thank you.
Are you sacrificing anything due to the size of the pump, or does it have the same advantages as the conventional ones?
Yeah. So any sacrifice, what's the balance between size and performance, particularly as it compares to the larger size pumps? Is that a fair summary? Thank you.
Well, I would immediately say nothing, because I'm not exactly the biggest person in the world.
Rene, this one's on you.
Okay, so if I got your question right, then if we have the same, if the behavior or if the Nano has any different or the same advantages, the same performance as the larger models, right? And obviously to make things smaller is often not easier. So making bigger pumps is easier from the design point, from the production and manufacturing point. Making things very small is really, and efficiency is a topic. So in general, yes, the typical advantage like pulsation free, like 2-in-1, but in a little bit different relations, of course. But in general, yes, we can say the same variation of pitches, the same adaptations we can do. So yes, we were in the development phase. We were hoping that we can achieve that, and finally, now we are happy that we have achieved, so that we can say yes, the same. Let's say typical advantages, what the people, the customers know from the larger sisters of that pump, we can apply also on the Nano.
And I think we should also say, which I don't think we mentioned, we can put, in our larger pump, we can put 9, but we can put 6 different types of screws in this pump. Mm-hmm. So we can change the performance of the pump without changing the size of the pump. Okay. So, for example, we can have really fine pitches which creates higher, or can accept higher pressure, create great vacuum.
And that's sustainability, because customers, they are changing manufacture. They are for example, yogurts manufacture. They are changing maybe recipes, whatever. But we don't have to change the pump. Normally, we can leave the same pump, put in some new, some different rotors, but that's it.
One pump, multiple applications, less expense, less waste.
Yeah.
Bish bash bosh, as I would say to that.
Yes.
Not a technical term. No, thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for your question. Final call for questions from the audience. I think we are almost out of time. That half hour has absolutely flown by. In which case, I'm just going to leave it to you two to say, if people want to find out more about Fristam pumps, about the Nano, or indeed about any of the other products that René so ably shown us on the screen a few moments ago, where are they best employed to go, Alistair and René?
To our stage, to the stage. No, to the stand, which Charlotte will remind me what stand number.
I can tell you it's E120. I know that
E120, and we'd love to have you because we've got so much to offer, so much to show.
And I guess for people who are watching on demand, maybe aren't here at the PPMA show 2024, why not? There are ample online resources that they can go to as well, simply by typing Fristam UK into their search engine of choice.
Absolutely.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our guests from Fristam UK, Alistair and René. Thank you very much indeed. We will be back in around about half an hour's time when we'll hear from our final innovator here on the live demonstration stage from Moscow. Until then, have a great PPMA show 2024, wherever you've come from, whatever you're doing today. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.